So yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. Yeah, hope you are able to see my screen, right? So thanks for joining the demo sessions. My name is Narsi. I have 12 plus years of experience on application development and then security, application maintenance. So various roles I performed so far. And currently I'm working as an associate architect in a product engineering company. So now I'm taking care of, the microservices architecture, microservices management with its automation, deployments and all. So DevOps, DevSecOps, application development, all these activities are now I'm taking care of. However, so thank you for joining the session. Let's begin the session. Okay, so first of all, this is the demo one, right? So let me type demo one, and the concept is why we need to learn the DevOps. There were so many tools available in the market, so why we need to learn the DevOps? What extra or what special is this DevOps have? So this is what we will see now. Okay, so maybe you guys are attending this demo, right? You might be from the different skill sets, or maybe different job roles, right? So you might be a different skill set, a different job roles. So when you are transitioning, can you please stop your video just in a moment? So when you are transitioning, right, or when you are trying to change, your job, right, from current job role to DevOps, right? Current job role meaning you may be already a developer, maybe Python, PHP, Java, .NET. You may be already a developer, or you may be a tester, maybe manual tester, automation tester, whatever it is. You might be a developer, you might be a tester, or you might be a network engineer, right? Or maybe you might be a manager, right? Or you might be a non-IT person. Whatever it is, whoever you are, the first thought that you will get in your mind is why we need to learn the DevOps, why we should have to look at the DevOps. This is the first question that everyone will come into this, into your mind. However, these demos we are conducting right now, right? So batch timings of this demo are from 8 p.m. to 9:30. So every day the classes will be started from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. But demos will be conducted. From 9 p.m. to 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is the demos time. And there were a total of 3 to 5 demos will be available. So mostly 3 to 5 demos will be available. And after that, when you got the confidence, and then if you feel okay, you can take your decision. But okay, let me go and then take the continue things. So why we need to choose the DevOps as our career? So the answer for this is we need to see two surveys. Let us see. So let me choose one survey. That is, the survey is industry arc DevOps market research. So industry, yeah, DevOps market share price and all by the year 2022. So if you can see this industry arc report, what it is saying is DevOps market is forecast to reach 12.5 billion by 2025. And at a compound annual growth rate of 25.2% during the year 2022 to 2025. What do you understand from this is why we need to learn the DevOps? Because of 3 reasons you have to learn the DevOps. You have to look at the DevOps because of the 3 reasons. So what are those 3 reasons that you can choose or look at the DevOps is? So first reason is DevOps is highly demandable skill, or DevOps is highly demandable skill now. Now employers are looking for hiring. So DevOps is highly demandable, meaning one of the highly demandable. What I mean to say is there were a lot of highly demandable skills available, but DevOps is one of the highly demandable skill, right? Skill nowadays, employers are looking for hiring. These skilled peoples, employers are looking for hiring. Why the DevOps is that much of, highly demandable skill in the market nowadays? Yes, so DevOps is one of the highly demandable skill now. Employers are looking for hiring. Why it is? DevOps increased, or using the DevOps, we can do a faster application delivery, high productivity of business, right? And we can eliminate unnecessary capital expenditures in IT. So this is the reason. Let me copy this reason and then paste here. Okay, so let me copy this reason and paste here. So DevOps is one of the highly demandable skill now. Employers are looking for hiring. Why? Using DevOps, we can deliver the applications very fast and high productivity is there. And we can eliminate the unnecessary expenditures in IT. So how it is fastly delivering and all, we can see later in time. But if you can see, using the DevOps, the applications will be delivered very fast. Okay, what is delivery, sir? What is application? Meaning using DevOps, right? So for example, okay, first of all, before going to this one, so I said one thing, when you are transitioning or trying to change your job role from developer, tester, network engineer, non-IT, then you may look for the DevOps. Why? Because, no coding is required. No coding is required. For the DevOps, no coding is required. No prerequisite is required. No prerequisite is required. So nothing, you don't need to know anything. Come with an empty mind and learn the DevOps. So no prerequisite is required. No coding is required. Coding is not required. So whoever have a fear about the coding, right? Sir, I don't know C, C++, Java, Python, .NET, nothing. Those are all not required for us. If you know, the concepts of the DevOps, and if you are hands-on on the DevOps tool, that is very good enough. Sir, these DevOps tools and then DevOps concepts don't have the coding? No, we don't have the coding. Altogether, it is a configuration driven. It is a configuration driven. And these configurations are also well documented. Like I can show you one document in simple way. So this is one document. For example, let me show you this one. So like this is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, finally step 17 or step 14, right? So likewise, what is happening, when you are doing the DevOps job, mostly you have to write the application delivery pipelines. Maybe I'm using little heavy words now, but what I mean to say is, while you are working your DevOps job using any of the cloud like AWS and all, so mostly you will play with the configuration. You will play with the configuration driven only. So what does it mean, the configuration driven? All the things, you have to write the configurations. That's it. And how to write, sir, we don't know. That's how you came here to learn to write the configurations and then, to play with the DevOps tools and then finally the delivery pipelines. So if you don't know anything, that is okay. Don't worry. Even no prerequisite is required and no coding is required. Who can learn this DevOps? Anyone can learn the DevOps, and especially for the non-IT guys. So let's say, sir, I have stopped my, I completed my graduation in 2014 or 2013, right? But I would like to, I did some other job due to my financial crunch. Now I would like to come back to the IT. Yes, now I would like to come back to IT, but I don't know C language, C++, Java, whatever it is. I don't know anything. In fact, I don't know the programming knowledge. I'm from the civil background. Can I eligible to learn the DevOps? Happily, you will be able to, you will be eligible to learn the DevOps, and then definitely you will get an opportunity to start your career at IT side with this DevOps technology. Why? How much confidence? Why you are telling like this, sir? What is the guarantee that I will get the job? So guarantee against a different word, but what I can say is lot of opportunities we have. No matter what's your career gap is, it's all together, if you have a very good technical stack, meaning very good DevOps, and then DevOps with AWS, if you have very good knowledge on it, then definitely you will get an opportunity. Nowadays, trend has been changed. The companies are hiring trained freshers. They are hiring. And of course, you can put 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years, 2 to 3 years. Like that, you can even showcase the experiences and then get on into the IT. That is a different story. But nowadays, everyone is asking for some trained candidates. The idea is what, trained candidates. You should have to be already trained, at least have some little hands-on, so that according to the project requirements, you will be molded according to or you will be not trained, but you will be guided according to the project needs. Okay, so the members who can come and then join and then learn is anyone can come and then join. I said pipeline, right? So how the pipeline will be? Simple, the pipeline will be like this. So here the developers, when the developers will write the code, and then they will put that code in some collaboration area. And in the collaboration area, the source code will be there. Source code in the sense what? The programmers, the developers will write the lines of code, right? For example, we are accessing the Facebook. Facebook is an application, but behind the scene, there are a tons of code might be written by the developers. So such a code they will maintain here, right? And that code, DevOps engineer needs to be deploy that code and then make it as an application like Facebook. The Facebook will be accessed by the users, right? Who will deploy that? Who will make that application to be accessible? The DevOps engineers only. They will responsible for deploying the applications through the automation modes. However, if you can see here, so this is the pipeline. Pipeline meaning how the source code is converting into a application which will be accessed by the end user, various flows. So this is a pipe. In this pipe, various stages are performing here. In each and every stage, there is a DevOps tool will learn. And if you have a professional experience or the professional knowledge on these DevOps tools, that is good enough to gain the market opportunities. So I'm saying pipeline, right? So what is pipeline? Meaning when the developers will write a lines of code, that code we need to convert into, or we need to make it to be available to the users. For example, gmail.com. And if you can see the site, this industryarc.com I opened, right? I'm able to access it. So there is a nice UI, images, lot of things I can see. I'm clicking on here, going there, coming there, right? But behind the scene, what happened, maybe tons of code might have been written. And that code is converting and then finally coming as an accessible or, understandable format to the layman or end user who don't know what is this coding and all. But by looking into it, say I want some report. Do I need to know the coding? No, I don't want any coding. I can go to some site and then I can see the report, right? But behind the scene, there might be a lot of code has been written, and this site is accessing from everywhere and from anywhere. Why? Because, this has been maintained in such a way, like, it can be applicable at anywhere and then available at every time, right? That means maybe deployed on one cloud and all. Okay, so finally the code has been converted into some user friendly or user accessible, user understandable application, right? How it is converting? So this code whoever the developers have written is now converted into a user accessible application with the easy understanding. So how it has been done? It has been done because of this code has been converted into the various levels of Artifactory and then deployment, various levels of steps were occurred actually. Finally, we are able to access in the application like this. Okay, however, so the pipeline contains the many tools, each and every tool meant for a different purpose. I'll come to that point maybe later on sessions. This is the demo one. I really don't want to confuse you. So let us go with the, the agenda, why we need to learn the DevOps first of all. Okay, so this is clear, right? No coding is required, no prerequisite is required, right? So you can learn the DevOps, but especially there are 3 reasons why you can learn the DevOps. One is you don't know the coding, you don't know the coding, you don't know anything, no prerequisite is required, but you have learned the DevOps. That as the DevOps is highly demandable skill nowadays, right? Then definitely you will be hired. That is one reason you can learn the DevOps. Second reason is what DevOps is one of the highly paid job, one of the highly paid jobs in the market, one of the highly paid jobs in the market. So why they are paying? If you can go and then see, for example, let us see one website now, ambitionbox.com, and you can go and then see the Glassdoor.com, or various other sites. You can go and then see how the DevOps packages are, right? Meaning the DevOps is one of the highly paid jobs in the market. Why? Because this is a shocking news actually, because of lack of resources. That's it. Lack of proper resources. What does it mean, sir? Lack of resources is not the reason, but the reason is lack of proper resources. What is the meaning? What is the meaning is industries, IT companies are still struggling to find out for the candidates who can be manageable this pipeline end to end, but not able to find out the right resources. If we interview 100 members, only 10-15 members, we will be able to find out like who know everything end to end of this pipeline, right? So we are getting the candidates like, one person know Jenkins, Ansible, but he don't know the Kubernetes. One person know Docker, Kubernetes, but they don't know this Jenkins and all. And one person will know this EFK, but they don't know the Kubernetes. And one person know the Grafana, Prometheus, Jenkins, they don't know the Ansible. And one person know the Ansible, Jenkins, they don't know the Docker. Like this, in the entire pipeline, a partial skilled peoples are now, you can see in the market, but a complete skilled candidates, like from, the pipeline technology entry level tool to pipeline deployment tool, like everything end to end, no one is, meaning at least, we are not able to find out the right resources. So there is a lack of resources in the market still, but the opportunities are growing like anything, but the resources are not there in the market. So obviously what will happen? Demand will be increased. So that demand is causing the DevOps guys to pay high paid in the market. Okay, let us see some so DevOps salaries in India. Let us type and then see. This is the Ambition Box. This Ambition Box website, at least I will trust more, because they will almost keep the trusted information, worthy information they will keep, not bluff information. They will put the very confidence information. So like this, if you can see, DevOps engineer salary in India ranges from 4 lakhs to 14 lakhs highest for an entry level engineer. This is for the entry level engineers. So DevOps engineer salary in India ranges between 4 lakhs to 14 lakhs with an average annual salary of 6 lakhs. So salary estimates are based on 28.9K, almost 29,000 DevOps engineers data they have collected and have seen an average salary for a DevOps engineer is 6 lakhs. So a starting range can be started from the 4 lakhs to 14 lakhs, an entry-level engineer also. And experience-wise also, we can see in this. This is the experience-wise and average salary, average. So average meaning it definitely an accumulated data, right? But if you can see here, DevOps engineer salary for 0 to 1, 5.L, 1 to 2, 5.L again, 2 to 3, 5.5, meaning these three are averaged, so it will be definitely reduced. But 2 to 3 years, it will be more. And like that, the experience wise annuals, meaning average salary, if you can see, 4 lakhs to average 14 lakhs. So 4 lakhs to 14 lakhs is the salary ranges for the DevOps engineers. That is average. And if you can see DevOps engineers salaries designations wise. So once you learn the DevOps, so once you learn the DevOps, what you can become as a DevOps engineer based on your experience level, and you might become a DevOps consultant, and you can become a DevOps architect, right? So DevOps architect based on the experience levels. So you can become a DevOps manager. So like that, various designations will be offered to us on the DevOps once you learn it based on your experience. For example, mostly 0 to 5 years experience are on the DevOps engineers, and 5 to 10 years are as the consultants, and maybe 10 plus 10 to 10 above 10 plus years are this one, and maybe 13 plus years as a DevOps manager. Based on your experience ranges, the designations will be offered to you. So if we consider the salaries based on the designation, so senior DevOps engineer salary is 13.0 is the average salary, minimum 6.5 and maximum 28 lakhs. And AWS DevOps engineer salary, minimum 4 lakhs to maximum 13 lakhs. And the DevOps consultant salary, again, 4.8 to 26 lakhs. And cloud DevOps engineer, so 4.3 to 21.2. This is the salary range of these guys. So 0 to 5 years experience. I can say not 0, but at least 1 to 5 years of experience. The salary is, this is the suitable salary for these experienced guys. Maximum 21.2 you can get, minimum 4.3 you can ask. And this is the cloud DevOps engineer with any of the cloud. Again, not only DevOps, but along with the DevOps, you need one cloud technology in your profile. So one cloud basically, not cloud technology, but one cloud provider, at least you should have to know, like AWS, Azure, right? So like that, one cloud provider, at least we should have to know. Okay, here again, this is Azure DevOps. By the way, our sessions will be on the DevOps with AWS. So our session are on the DevOps with AWS. So DevOps with AWS. And of course, underlying platform is Linux. So this is our course. On the AWS provider, we will work, not on Azure. Okay, but however, who have an experience on Azure also have the salary ranges from 4.4L to 13L. And the DevOps lead salary. So these guys around this experience level, 5 to 10 years of experience. So these guys can be called as the DevOps consultants or maybe the lead salary. So their salary is again 10.L to 37.L. Just imagine, starting minimum salary is 10 lakhs, maximum is like 37, 38, and average 20 lakhs are there in the market. Average minimum who have the experience range like 5 to 10 years, they have the minimum salary as 20 above, right? So that is the beauty of this DevOps job. A highly responsible job, even highly paid job, as well as highly responsible job, because you only have you are the guys who only have to take care about the application, like your kid, like your baby. You should have to look after the application once the application is going into the production, right? So there were various DevOps activities will be there. So from the developers when they were starting the development of the application until it reaches to the customers, end users like you and me who are accessing the application, right? So various levels, various steps, the DevOps engineer's role is very crucial and highly responsible role it is. However, that is the reason you are paying very high. However, so lead DevOps engineer again, 9.1L to 41.7L. So these are all the various salary levels, but minimum is 4 lakhs, maximum is like 40 also cross, see 40.7 based on your experience level. Again, it's a purely experience level. Okay, so if the experience is 1 to 5, you will be DevOps engineer, and 5 to 10 DevOps consultant or senior DevOps engineer, and DevOps architect 10 plus years, and then manager 13 plus years. These are all common designations. I'm not telling like these designations are fixed in each and every company. No, of course the designations are whole and sole responsibilities of the companies, and the companies desire how they wanted to name you, they can name it. It is up to their company premises, their company boundary, right? So but commonly we can see these are the designations available in the market for a DevOps engineer. Okay, now we have seen DevOps is highly paid job, and then DevOps is highly demandable job, right? And without any coding, if we can learn the DevOps, we can start our IT career with a good CTC. So what else we want? The reason to learn the DevOps, obviously, right? So what you will learn here in this DevOps course, at least in my course, whichever I'm now taking, right? So what you will learn in this course? So it will be a complete practical orientation and then real-time parity. Meaning, if you learn the course, at least my course, you follow day to day and then learn it. And if you work along with me on day-to-day basis, the course duration is 90 days, of course. And if any more, maybe due to any reasons, like, if it will be increased, maximum 1 month, it will be increased, but 90 days, I will try to wind it up. However, in these 92 to 120 days, if you work with me in learning all these DevOps activities, DevOps tools, along with the AWS cloud, I'm confidently say confidently say you can crack the job like anything. Why? Because the strategy that we are following is purely on the industry need or the market need. So how the market is expecting, what tools are market is expecting. With those tools, I have defined the course content, and accordingly we will go. Yeah, so let me put my laptop charger. Just yeah, thank you. Okay, however, now maybe you are new. Yes.
Said Chetan here. Sir, in the coaching, we'll be explaining to real-time example, sir.
Correct. So that's what I would like to showcase. What you will be work on, and then how it will be. That
and also one more thing, sir. Actually, I am 2016 passport. Before I'm into production sector, in manufacturing sector, I am thinking to enter into this software industry. So I'd like to take this DevOps course. Will this knowledge is sufficient to crack the in an interview, sir?
100%. There is no doubt at all. The only
person.
Correct. 100%. The only thing is what it is. The diagram is showing here the pipeline, right? In this pipeline, guys can be please mute others. Yeah. So whatever the pipeline you are showing, right? You are seeing, right? In this pipeline, you can see the Kubernetes, Docker, Ansible, Jenkins. Lot of tools we have added here based on the market research, actually. So market is expecting these tools. If you have the hands-on knowledge, right? For example, see this, in this entire architecture, you can observe one point. So here is some Jenkins. What is this Jenkins? You don't know at this moment, but you can observe. Here is one Jenkins tool, which is only talking to this Ansible. Whereas this Ansible is talking to these two machines or these two environments, or you can say. And there are some arrows are written and there. What are all these? Meaning, this is the pipeline communication. In this communication, in this diagram, they may be just an arrows, but in the reality, a lot of concept we need to apply to make them communicate each other. So what I mean to say is, if hands-on, you will practice throughout the session, right? Throughout these 90 to 120 days, if you hands-on practice, I'm pretty sure you will be able to get the good jobs, but you have to practice more and more. That is the only.
Okay.
So
Narsi, this is Subha. Do we have any case study at end to show the end-to-end flow of this one?
yes.
Practice purpose. Yeah.
Yes. So I already have the pipeline setup. So I can go and then showcase it. Maybe I will. So let me go back to Mumbai region. So I'll do one thing. I will showcase this end-to-end pipeline tomorrow. Maybe.
Okay.
So, but you can see here, these are the various missions, whatever you can see in that pipeline. So master, worker 1, worker 2. So those you can see here, master, and then worker 1, worker 2. And similarly, there is a Docker host mission. You can see here. So Docker host mission. So Docker host mission, Jenkins master, Jenkins worker, and there is a ELK server. There is a Ansible engine, right? And there is Minikube single node cluster, and here is a multi-node Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so Sonar Cube and all other machines are also there, meaning Sonar Cube and all installed on this ELK server itself only. You can see the Sonar Cube and then JFrog, right? JFrog cloud instance I have taken. So that is the reason for the JFrog you have not seen a mission here, but
Okay.
other are also having these missions here. I can showcase it probably.
Are these tools free for practice? I mean,
no, actually, yeah, this is the, if you can see, one moment. I have already created one DevOps matrix.
DevOps matrix, okay.
Let me go and then open that. Personal trainings, demos, DevOps. So DevOps, I think it is here itself only. Yes. See this, these are the missions.
Okay.
So we will use the AWS as our platform.
Okay.
And in AWS, for example, Jenkins setup, meaning this machine you have seen, right? Jenkins. So this will be with the master and then slave architecture. So those machines are of type T2 medium, which requires the 4 GB RAM minimum and 2 CPU core minimum. So this is not free, not freely providing by the AWS. So that's how, if you learn and then if you work on this pipeline, you have to bear 650 rupees INR to maximum 800, 850 INR per month.
Per month.
That it's an instance access or you have to install?
Not install, instance access. These are hosted machines, right? In order to work with these hosted machines, per hour, this charge will be.
Can
per
I ask
hour?
a question here?
Is it per hour or is it per month?
Not per hour. Let me go here.
Okay.
Per hour, these instances are charging like, we will choose this T2.micro, right? So you can see this T2.micro per hour, 0.0496 USD per hour.
Per hour, okay.
So that means you will be work mostly, assume 4 hours you will work.
Per day. Okay. So it's 120 hours per month.
Yeah. So
multiplied by after $1.
So meaning 0.1984 per day. Like that, probably 30 days if we can take for one machine, 5.952 into 75 rupees if we take. So monthly 446. This is per one machine. But I have taken
with that memory of whatever is shown, that 4 GB, and then the process is 2 cores, right?
Correct. So this is what 4 hours. Okay. But if you complete it every day, 4 hours is not required, right? Maybe one day 2 hours. In one day, you might spend 6 hours. But what I'm talking is the reality. You have to bear it in order to learn the real time.
Okay.
So Narsi sir,
Is this?
can I ask you a question here?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so suppose that I am having a 64 GB of desktop and I can make this means virtual machines on my desktop, and
yes, that also would work. Yes, I got
I
you.
can yeah, because I am having high-ended machine with me.
You can. That is really good. You can go with that. Okay. In fact, in our AWS course content, if you can see our DevOps course content, in DevOps course content, I have added one concept called, creating the virtual machines. So VM setup. So here you will know actually what is the difference between the bare metal, what is the virtual machine, what is bare metal, how to set up these virtual machines, and all we can learn here actually. Okay. So however, that is also fine. So if you have a heavy configuration machine, you can take it. Fine, but this is the minimum.
One more thing I want to ask you here. Actually, I am working on Google Cloud Platform actually in my organization. So means if you are aware about GCP, then how similar AWS and GCP would be?
Both actually, they are GCP and then AWS, both are cloud providers. So almost all they have the services, but they are offering in a different way. Probably see this, AWS is offering the missions called T2.micro for free. Similarly, GCP also offering few missions for free, I'm sure, right? So 750 hours for free, the DevOps service AWS is offering. Similarly, maybe GCP is also offering the missions for a certain hours.
Yeah.
Right?
So I want. So means suppose that if I will tomorrow, if I want to perform similar things in GCP, would you be able? Means would you be help me to resolve the doubts?
Yes, I will be help you. Underlying, we no matter actually, we never bother about what the cloud it is, right? So we will work on the Linux actually. So our platform is the Linux platform. No matter who is the cloud and how they are providing, but our platform is the Linux platform. Linux platform is common or same, right? The commands, directory structures, and all will be common and then same across all the clouds. So we don't need to worry about the clouds.
Sir, in the Linux, we have coding, right? That is more depth coding required or?
Not coding actually, shell scripting we have to do. Okay. And that shell scripting also, believe me, throughout this pipeline, you no need to write any too much of shell scripting. Rather than writing the shell scripting and then kicking on these machines, we will use the Terraform scripts. So shell scripting is okay, having knowledge is good, but throughout this DevOps pipeline setup, we will use the Groovy script and we will use the Terraform scripts. And of course, shell scripting is also we will use wherever is required. But in depth, in the sense what, according to the requirement, according to the need, we need to use it actually. I don't think there is a measurement for the in-depth and or maybe normal like that. But based on our use case, we have to use that. For example, when this mission is starting, what I'm telling is when this mission is starting, there is a agent will come. So you can see probably one agent will be here, and there is one more mission called Jenkins worker here. So when this Jenkins worker is starting, we have to set up one script which will run the agent there. You got my point, right? This is one mission. And similarly, we will take one more mission here. When the mission is starting up, we need to run one agent. So how we will run it? Again, we will write one shell script and then we will execute that script during the mission bootstrap. So this level we will learn, which is very, very enough for you guys to, practice and maybe to go into and then do your job.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let me showcase you the course content. Of course, you can find out this course content in our DURGASOFT website. But yeah, so in a nutshell, this is what the highlights of this course. You will learn Docker and Kubernetes in depth. So why I'm saying Docker and Kubernetes in-depth is required. Again, if you can go and then see the survey, whatever the survey has been performed here. So if you can see and then open this survey, most of the jobs. So let us open this DevOps jobs. Okay, so in this DevOps jobs, most of the technology they are asking, or most of the tools they are asking, are the this is DevOps engineer, right? Associate DevOps engineer. Can you please mute? So if you can see this DevOps role, they are asking about the Linux, they are asking about the Agile, then Python, Unix, and different skill set they are asking. But the Linux they are asking. If we choose this DevOps engineer Hyderabad, so they are asking, this is for a different experience level, 6 to 10 years. So they are asking what, DevOps, Docker, and then Docker, yeah, Docker, and then DevOps they separately asking, and Ansible.
Ansible is there. Jenkins is there.
Jenkins, Git, Maven. So these are all asking. And let us go and then see one more profile. This is full stack cloud developer, Java and all they should have to. But if you can see here, for Java developers also, it is expecting one cloud provider and then expecting to have the DevOps knowledge. And scroll down, this is application consultant DevOps, 10 to 15 years experience. And for them asking the, again, DevOps. So not clearly mentioned, but they just have given DevOps. But if you can see this data engineer, maybe this job is different, but DevOps is asking. And if you can go to this big data, and there also you can see the DevOps. Everywhere the DevOps they are asking for any of the engineers of any experience level, DevOps knowledge or experience is some other way is required. And also Linux is mandatory. So for example, if you can go this senior software engineer, and for them asking the DevOps. Right. So likewise, each and every job, mostly they are asking the DevOps. Now in the DevOps, so DevOps, right? In the DevOps, what is the tools? What are the tools that we have to learn? So here we have 15 tools they were listed here, which are frequently asking by the many of the IT companies. So out of it, we have to learn, of course, all these tools, at least DevOps meaning all these tools, whatever I have shown in this pipeline, right? So Jenkins, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, and one log management tool, and then one monitoring tool. So if you know these 5 or 4 tools, if you have a hands-on knowledge or experience on these 4 or 5 tools, it is good enough that you will get the job. But apart from this, along with these 4 or 5 tools, you also have the knowledge on any one of the cloud providers, right? Like AWS or Azure or GCP or whatever it is, but one cloud knowledge is required. So among all these DevOps tools and all, if you can see, which one we should have to learn, sir? So again, what I'm saying is, if you know the Jenkins, know Ansible, but if you don't know Kubernetes, Docker, you don't get a job. For sure, you don't get a job. If you don't know Docker, but you know Ansible, and then you know, you know Jenkins, you know Ansible, you know Docker, and at least if I am your recruiter, I don't select you because you are a DevOps engineer. You came for a role called DevOps engineer, but you learn till only the container orchestration, but you don't know about how to manage these containers and all. So that is the reason I definitely won't select you. What I mean to say is, if you know Kubernetes, if you know Docker, if you know Ansible, but don't know Jenkins, don't know SonarQube, don't know Grafana, Prometheus, nothing, you will be selected. Of course, assume you know only the Docker and Kubernetes and EFK and Grafana, you don't know Ansible, Jenkins, and all. Yes, you will be selected. 100% you will be selected. So what you have commonly observed out of this discussion? Kubernetes and Docker are very, very, very important for a DevOps engineer nowadays. Nowadays, developers are also writing the Docker files. Developers are also writing the Docker files. That means Kubernetes is a damn mandate for the DevOps engineers. If you don't know Kubernetes, if you learn all these things, Kubernetes meaning it's not only what is service, what is kind, what no, that is not. What is deployment, what is no. It's a in-depth actually. I mean, right? So how we will do the auto scaling, pod level auto scaling, node level auto scaling, right? And then load balancers. There were a lot of concepts, networking, lot of concepts, in-depth concepts of the Kubernetes is required here. And I'm sure if you know the Kubernetes very well, if you can address anything in the Kubernetes, if you don't know this Jenkins, if you don't know any other, of course, you don't know the Kubernetes well, meaning you are definitely master in Docker. That is for sure. And Docker is mandatory for learning the Kubernetes for sure. You know, or you are master in Kubernetes, meaning you definitely be the master in Docker. I don't want to say separately, but what I mean to say is, if you know Kubernetes very well and you are hands-on experience, right, you will be able to do like anything, any requirement or any deployment you can do. Then if you don't know Jenkins, don't know Ansible, don't know anything, that's okay. You will get job 100%. Why? Because, you know, out of 100, only 10% of people nowadays know the Kubernetes. And in that 10% only have the working experience candidates, and 20 to 25% are only the knowledgeable candidates. Meaning in this 25%, again, 10% are the working candidates, but 15% are only the knowledge candidates, not working. They don't have the hands-on experience, but they don't know how the Kubernetes, what Kubernetes and all. So demand is there. Demand is more and demand is there. So if you learn Kubernetes hands-on, then you will get the job for sure. Okay, so that is the motto. Entire this DevOps course, the highlight of this motto, entire DevOps course. Can you please?
So Narsi, here if I know, yeah. So Narsi, if I know the only Docker, Git and GitHub, and some basic commands of Ansible, is there any possibility to crack the interviews or get the jobs?
No, I can say nowadays at least no, because you know nowadays microservices architecture is asking by the interviewers how you will deploy the microservices. So if there is a microservices architecture, meaning the microservices needs to be deployed in a cloud native, meaning we have to make them as a cloud native. When it is a cloud native, you know, it will be definitely cloud agnostic, meaning if there will be a microservices application here that can be able to deployable in any of the cloud, no matter it is Azure or GCP or AWS, any of the cloud, it should be deployable, right? That means a cloud native microservices architecture is building in such a way that, you know, it should be cloud native, meaning its management is very, very important. For its management, the best deployment strategy is the Kubernetes. So you got my point, right? Just think in a broader way. Microservices architecture is deploying nowadays using by the most of the projects and all. Now they want the candidates who can manage the microservices architecture. The best tool to manage the microservices deployment architecture strategy is what, you know, Kubernetes. Obviously, Kubernetes is the most asking tool nowadays.
So you're
Okay.
telling from in this
Okay.
course we are going to learn from end-to-end courses, end-to-end content we are learning.
Correct. And also here microservices mean not only for Java. Microservices is an architectural pattern basically. It's not related to only one Java or maybe other technology. It's an architectural concept. That architectural concept you can implement it using any of the technology. Doesn't matter what the technology is. You are the DevOps engineer. You no need to worry about the technology. What you need to do, you know, you want an artifact. Maybe I'm using again little tough word here, but what I mean to say is you want the outcome of the source code. Let us say code is written in .NET. Once the .NET application build, what you will get an outcome of it. That outcome is required to you, right? And that outcome you will deploy wherever it is required, right? So technology doesn't matter to you, and but microservices architecture knowledge is asking by the interviewers nowadays. for the DevOps engineers. So microservices deployment is very, very important and asking by the interviewers. And what are the applications that you're gonna deploy here basically throughout the session? So you'll work on these applications. So these applications are of type a static website, a Node.js application, a React.js application, a Java Spring Boot monolithic application, and microservices. One microservice you will deploy. And one Python application also let's deploy. Yeah, at least these are the applications that are targeted to deploy throughout the session. There were total of 6 applications that we need to deploy and then manage throughout the pipelines.
Can I know what is the flow, like whether it is first AWS or DevOps or Linux?
Yeah, first we will start. Actually, it will be go side by side. Side by side meaning what? First of all, in order to set up this Jenkins, we need an AWS EC2 machine. So for that, what we will do, we will go to the AWS and then we will understand the concept of the IAM, and then we will understand the concept of the EC2 machines. First, we'll understand what is cloud computing and all, right? And then finally, we will understand the EC2, and then we will choose the EC2 machines, meaning it is a side by side. It may not be like first this and that, no, it will be side by side. So first we will start with the EC2 instance. And once we take that EC2 instance, then we will set up our DevOps tools on top of it. But again, before taking the EC2 machine, we will first go and then discuss about the Linux, because Linux is mandatory and then you have to know Linux, right? So first we will learn the Linux. Where we will learn the Linux? We learn the Linux again on the EC2 machines only. Okay. Any questions?
Hello. How these concepts are we are using in real-time example? We are using in real-time. How we can compare and if we attend the interview for experiences role, okay, then how we can use these concepts. You will have to tell them, right, to the recruiters in an experienced way. If you use basic terminology, then they may catch up.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
How we can do this?
Now you guys are at the day 1, right? At this moment, this question itself for me is invalid, but let me answer your question still. So whenever interviewer will ask you, can you please explain me the DevOps day-to-day activities, or at least your day-to-day activities, or what you have done? Then once you complete entire pipeline learning here, right, in this 90 to 120 days, you definitely know about the internals of it. So with those internals, whatever he is asking, we can answer it. For example, in Jenkins, what concepts you worked on it? A master slave concept, I have worked on it. And then access the machines with the password authentication, passwordless authentication. And there were SSH agents we have used. And then Blue Ocean dashboard I have used. And then I have integrated with the mails and then the notifications and all. Lot of things, lot of concepts are here. And then Ansible, I have written the playbooks. The playbooks were there in the Git file and Git repository. From the Git, I have taken the playbooks, and using playbooks, I connecting to the various missions and then upgrading the packages, installing the softwares, installing the deployments. Right. So this is the terminology you will use once after you complete this pipeline. But as now we are at the day 1, obviously that question is maybe that question is valid, but at this moment the question is invalid. But once you learn all these things, definitely that question itself will be answered. Correct, right? You got my point, right?
Yes, I got it.
That's true.
So,
as a DevOps engineer,
will there be any video sharing
develop any website or
I 2 questions were asked at a time. Can you please don't mind?
Can I go with that? Can I go with the question?
Yeah.
Will you provide the videos?
Yes. So recorded videos will be every day. Session recordings will be provided, and those session recordings session recordings are valid for 6 months. For 6 months, meaning your course is 3 months, right? And plus 3 months will be given. The access
And
will
will there be any written material kind of thing provided so that we can have an advanced look of what is going to be in the next class kind of
yes.
thing?
If you can see this Google Classroom, I have provided the material here. For example, Kubernetes you can take. So a lot of material has been written here, a step-by-step manner how to set up and all. And similarly, if you can go to the SonarQube, the material of SonarQube is here. And like that, Docker material and all other materials are also uploaded here. So once the US will be registered, right, then you will be given an access to this one. So once you got the access, then you can go and then download the material. Okay.
How much is the fee? How much is the fee? And we have lessons on Saturday.
So what was that? I didn't get your question.
How much is the cost for the course? And
The course,
we have lessons on Saturday.
the course cost is 12,000 INR. So 12,000 INR, Indian cost.
On Saturdays, do we have lessons on Saturdays?
Correct. So 12,000 INR, it covers the DevOps plus AWS both the courses.
So
Again,
Narsi, actually, so suppose that after taking your course, is it possible that if I can attend the means Kubernetes certifications, if someone completed that certification, passed that certification, then how that certification would be helpful to get the job?
Okay. So obviously, nowadays Kubernetes certification. First of all, Kubernetes certification is not an object level; it is a written exam. We have to write everything in the virtual platform. That's okay, but once we got the Kubernetes certificate, then the Kubernetes certificate is of 3 levels. One is at the administration level, second one is the developer level, third one is the architect level. So if any one of the Kubernetes certification or Kubernetes certificate you got right by cracking the exam, it will be worthy like anything. In the DevOps world, Kubernetes certification is too worthy because it's not an object, multiple choice questions you are answered. You have written the exam, you have written the use cases, you have written the services files, you have written the deployment files, you have written the volumes, you have written the lot of things, HPA, lot of concepts you have implemented, RBAC files.
So it means like that they will give some task and we need to perform online, right?
Exactly. Then only the marks will be, each and every section will have certain questions, each and every question will have certain marks weightage.
Okay.
In online we have to write, but once that certification you can crack, you will be like anything in the DevOps world. You can demand.
Yeah, hi Narsi. With this course, what level can we write? Like admin, dev, architect?
No, actually, certification is different, but I can sure you can write at the admin level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the difference between admin, dev, architect level?
So admin level in the sense administration related concepts we will have. So probably we need in our day-to-day life, we have to write the files like this. So I can show you database. See this, these are the files we need to write. Deployment, services, PV, PVC, configurations, hands-on we have to write. In the admin, based concepts will be asked, but in the dev, they will ask us to write the deployment file, or write the PVC, or write a complete service or maybe one application deployment required files. So the dev, we have to develop the deployments of the Kubernetes resources. So for that we will use the IDs also, like we have the Rancher is one ID and Lens is another ID. IDs to develop this. But admin
Got
is
it. Got it. So with this course, we will be good at admin level, right?
admin, and also we will write certification level. meaning Kubernetes dev certification level, it is not covering. But usually day-to-day life, what the Kubernetes developer will do, or usually Kubernetes developer in the sense DevOps guy only, right? How much is required for the DevOps engineer, the Kubernetes, that level we will work. That means each and every concept, I think I already have shown you the DevOps content, right? In this DevOps content, so Kubernetes content also I have given. Almost all topics of the Kubernetes we will learn here, and also we will write the files, whatever the files I have shown. These we will write here, our own hands. These we will write here. Okay, not only administration, it is more than that.
Got
Got
it. Got it.
Actually, what is the main aim of the DevOps engineering?
Okay,
Do
so
we need to develop in a website, or do we need
not
to
not
run?
okay, not developing. It is the main aim of the DevOps is, first of all, to understand this why DevOps, what is the DevOps. Again, 2 to 3 sessions are required actually. But in a nutshell, what I can tell you is, in real time, we have the 2 departments. So one is the development, and second one is the operations. Operations meaning the network guys, IT people, right? Database administrator, and the cloud engineers will be there. They will know only the Azure, they will know only the AWS, they will know only GCP. Like that, the cloud engineers will be there. Database administrators, IT guys, and the networking guys were there. Now developers are there. Developers meaning the Java developers, or maybe the .NET developers, whatever it is. Developers, coders are there, and developers plus testers. So will be here basically. Now developers will write the lines of code, right? Maybe 100,000 lines of code, right? Aiming for a website or web application, whatever it is, but they will write the code. This will be tested by the testers. And yes, I have written 1,000 lines of code. This is written, and if this 1,000 lines of code will be placed somewhere, it will become a website, assume for our understanding. Then who has to place this 1,000 lines of code in somewhere so that it becomes it will be available as some website? These operations guys. So these operations guys will put these 1,000 lines of code by compressing into some different formats and then placing in one server. Then the end users like you and me can access it like a website, right? So what we understood now, here are the developers, here are the operations guys. So there will be a big wall of gap in between these two. So that big wall of gap will be covered or addressed using this DevOps.
What is that big gap, sir?
The big gap is, these developers will follow the agile methodology. Maybe this term again may be new for all of you, maybe for at least few of you. Agile methodology, what they will write the code every day. For example, 1,000 lines of code I have written. So I instructed these operations guys to deploy the 1,000 lines of code. Okay, 1,000 lines of code, I instructed them to deploy. Mean the time they will deploy this 1,000 lines, I have written one more 1,000 lines of code. Because I am using agile methodology, so my development is faster. So, but they have not deployed the first 1,000 lines only. But I am ready with the next 1,000 lines. So they are struggling to deploy here because maybe server is not set up properly, or maybe their deployment environment not set up properly, but they're struggling. But here I have written 1,000 more lines of code and then asking them to deploy first 1,000 lines only. But these guys were maybe not able to deploy this, and these guys maybe come back to us and then say, your code is wrong, first 1,000 lines of code is wrong, it is not proper, it is not deploying. So maybe some other reasons they will start telling to these developers. But the developers will ask testers. Testers will say, hey, no, I have tested this 1,000 lines of code. It is working fine. When these developers are set up something in their environment, testers tested it and it is working fine. But when it is going to production, it is not working. So this is the gap. This is a small gap, not small gap, but this is one example. Like,
okay,
yeah, likewise, when the development is fast, if the operations are slow, if the operations are fast, or development is slow, then there is a problem. So this collaboration, this communication, right, will be addressed by using the DevOps. Yeah, someone is asking questions.
So DevOps engineer will be
yeah.
as an
So
coordinator. between developer and operations team.
Correct. So DevOps engineer is in between the development team and then operations team. So that is one word, right? Slowly the DevOps guys becoming establish a culture between these DevOps developers and then operations guys. So these operations guys are now the DevOps engineers. So these operations guys are now DevOps engineers mostly. Of course, there were still operations team separately or there, but a new role called DevOps has been introduced. So these are the guys who know how the development will do. I mean, how the development will work. These guys know how deployment will work. These guys will know. So they will fill the gap in between these two guys.
His role will be fitted in all the MNC companies and level 1, level 2 companies, no, sir? Everywhere there.
Anywhere nowadays the DevOps is using, because DevOps have a direct impact on the business growth. Direct impact. Okay, so if the DevOps is using, the applications are delivering very fast. Going forward, let us understand what is this DevOps and all with some simple story. So from that simple story, we can understand what is DevOps, what is SDLC, and what is Agile. All those things we'll understand slowly.
I have two questions.
Okay, Narsi, are you providing any hello? Narsi, are you providing any recording sessions for each sessions of each class?
Yes. So recording sessions will be provided every day once after the class will be done. Then the next day, because we are taking it 8 p.m., right? Our session ending by the 9:30. By the time, maybe our backend team might left the office, but we will receive the videos next day first half.
What about this today class?
Okay. And what about the
yeah, today actually we have done a general discussion, right? But however, this general discussion also you will see in the YouTube. These 3 demos will be uploaded to YouTube, and also to your email drive they will upload these videos.
So when is your next class? When is your exactly the class will start?
Yeah, so today we have started like what is DevOps, why we need to learn DevOps, right? But in a glance we have seen. So tomorrow onwards, slowly we will try to understand this concept, DevOps content. So I thought to start using this one, while learning DevOps. So we have written this sentence, but we have not discussed these things, right? So let us start from tomorrow onwards only. So by the end of the sessions, we will be done with these things.
And I have 2 questions.
And after complete DevOps course, any real-time projects as DURGASOFT providing, or are you providing?
Not only
any real-time projects.
Not only after learning the DevOps. While learning the DevOps, you will do a real-time here. Not only after. Why I'm saying, the application that I'm providing here, or it's not so simple, meaning logical. What I mean to say is, so for example, see this, here is the application and here is the database. So why I have written separate files for the database and then application, right? So why can't we written only few files for them? But no, for application deployment, 5 files we have written Kubernetes files. For the database deployment, almost 7 files we have run. And for all this deployment, again, Ansible playbooks, we will write like 3 to 4 playbooks we will write. What I mean to say is the pure real-time applications we will do here. The nature of the development, the nature of the the pipeline development you will do here is like your real time. Once you go to office and you will work on other projects, right? You never feel like, I don't know this, I don't know that. That confidence I can give, because we'll work on it. Okay. Yeah.
I have 2 questions from my end.
Please
First
go ahead.
question is, I'm new to this the term called as software itself.
Yeah, understand.
And the second question is, once the course is completed, do you provide any kind of job assistance kind of thing?
Job assistance, I'm honestly saying, I'm a tutor here, right? So I'm not sure whether really I can provide you the job assistance or not. But our DurgaSoft have a jobs website. So DURGASOFT jobs website will post us whenever a new job requirement will come to us. Meaning all the DevOps, not only DevOps, all the students in the DURGASOFT circle. For example, 10 companies or 5 companies are looking for the DevOps engineer. So what are those companies? What they are asking for? How to apply? This information, our DURGASOFT job site is there actually. There they will mention. So, but additional job assistance, I'm really not sure because, in our day-to-day life, maybe it's not really possible for me because I'm a tutor here. Got it, right?
But in website, the timing has been set it as from 9 p.m.
Exactly. So demos actually, as I said, demos, these 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 demos that we have started today are from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. But the usual sessions when we start, right, that again from the 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. the batch timings. So the demos are 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah. Any questions?
And one more last question from my side, please. The order is not mentioned, but even though that is the thing, actually my concentration was more on AWS.
Okay.
Because I need to go for AWS certification, practitioner certification. So how come this DevOps with AWS is going to help for me to get out of this practitioner certification?
Yeah. So if you can see this pipeline, right? So here is one machine, there is one machine I'm talking about. This entire pipeline where we are setting up on one cloud, whether that is AWS, Azure, or whatever it is. So the DevOps tools we are learning or we are applying on the cloud itself only. So obviously cloud is required for us. For example, in cloud, you might know private subnet, public subnet, right? So whatever the Kubernetes that I'm showing here, it should be in the private subnet. That means what? AWS hosted solution we have to use here called EKS. So EKS we will use, which is in the private subnet, and Jenkins is in the public subnet, and Docker is again in the private subnet, and Kubernetes this is in the public subnet. What I mean to say is, AWS concepts are damn required for setting up this entire pipeline, though we are using the DevOps tools. So these are all the DevOps tools we will apply on the AWS only.
So is the AWS course completely covered, right?
Not completely. Whatever or how much is required for the DevOps engineer, that I have taken. We have 300 plus services. At least DevOps certification required the 40 plus services or it's 30 plus services. But those many tools not required, services not required for the DevOps engineer. 15 plus services are good enough for the DevOps engineer. That 15 plus services I will teach in this entire course actually.
What are those 15 services, sir?
Yeah, I have already given in the material. If you can go here, course content, these are the things. So one is obviously EC2 and EBS, ELB and S3, CloudFront and then Route 53, RDS and CloudWatch, Cloud Formation, Auto Scaling, and here EKS, ECR, because here if you can see in our diagram, there is a container registry. So this container registry nothing but the ECR. So ECR, likewise, so whatever are required, those are I will cover. So these are all the things you can see SNAs, SQS, and finally the Terraform. So these you can see in our course content also. I will explain each and every why I have chosen only these services, how the DevOps engineer required these services. I will explain tomorrow. I will connect the DevOps with this AWS, why I have chosen these services. Okay. So, but meantime, I would like to showcase you one thing. Our final DevOps architecture is something like this. Our production DevOps architecture is this thing. It is opening, just bear with me. Yes, let me go till end. Just let me go till end. Sorry. So probably let me go till end. Yes, this is our final architecture. So where we will use our entire pipeline to deploy the applications into this AWS cloud. We will create one VPC. Inside VPC, we'll take private subnet, public subnet. In public subnet, we'll take load balancer. Private subnet, we'll take Elastic Kubernetes service, and that will connect to the RDS called MySQL. and then we will use the simple email service, simple notification service, and then to create the DNS, we will use the Route 53, and to have the HTTPS, we will use the AWS Certificate Manager, right? So finally, our applications will be deployed here or accessible over this DNS, right? So a lot of
So,
concepts.
Narsi, actually,
Hmm.
so will you be giving that introduction of your each service, like what is DNS and what is
Exactly.
subnet and
Correct. In depth of it, we will learn. For example, VPC is here. See this, how the VPC, what the VPC, how it will be, what it will be. Theoretically, plus everything I will provide actually. It's not, we are just going there and then taking the service and then working. No, we definitely will.
I have one question. So, in the whole architecture, where are we running these security scans and all? Because in real time, I mean, any company will run security scans and some kind of security scans they will perform before deploying application or before releasing it to the market, right?
Correct. So here, if you can see, this load balancer have the DNS attached. So that DNS is having the security certificate. So vulnerabilities and all are maybe the here we are using the EC2, right? So any Docker container which is deploying in here, then the Docker images should have to be scanned. So we have an ECR, right? ECR will scan the Docker images.
Okay.
Network traffic can be scanned by using this load balancer.
Okay.
And also in the S3 bucket, we're gonna upload some files. In S3 bucket, there were antiviruses we will apply, like bucket AVS, and there were a couple of antivirus services we have. So those we will use.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for me for today? Otherwise, let us come back.
Yeah,
to
one last question from my side. I have gone through one profile actually, and I found that that guy was DevSecOps. So I think that is a DevOps with security actually. So will you be covering that concept also here?
No.
What is
security we are not covering. The security we are covering here at the Kubernetes level, but not the other aspects of the security like IAM and all. We are not going to cover here because Kubernetes level. If you can go and then see the content, yeah. Kubernetes, we have a role-based access control on each and every part. So probably you can see here, Kubernetes RBAC. Network.
So what is the difference between DevOps and DevSecOps?
So DevSecOps requires the security knowledge, as we know, like IAM, identity and access management, provisioning, and then certificate manager, certificate stores, certificate vaults, protecting our Kubernetes entire infrastructure with the certificate securities and all. There were a lot of concepts, right? So those are all required actually for the security DevSecOps candidate. But in our course, being a DevOps engineer, you will apply the security at the Kubernetes pod level. Meaning in this entire architecture, you can see, we'll apply the security this level. And obviously we are taking these missions in the private subnet. It itself is secured, but there is a chance of deploying the applications here with some vulnerabilities that we will, and the guys with the proper role, only they will be able to deploy here. So that role-based access management will control, but not at the cluster level security we don't maintain.
Which one is powerful, sir? DevOps or DevSecOps?
Obviously, DevSecOps is more weightage, right? Security, DevOps concepts along with the security is really superb actually. So no need a security specialist separately, right? So otherwise, but I don't see, at least many people are asking for the DevOps. DevSecOps is an added advantage for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any proper certification for this, sir?
You mean for the DevOps one?
Yes. We are learning in this content DevOps plus AWS, right? Cloud platform.
Correct.
For this, is there any proper certification to showcase our skills?
Obviously, proper certification in the sense, what I mean, by learning, by attending this course.
Yes,
Can,
after there will be attending some exam, right? Exam kind of certification.
correct.
Yeah.
So what I can say is, entire this course content, by attending the Jenkins, you can confidently attend the Jenkins administration certificate, and with the Kubernetes, you can attend the Kubernetes administration certificate. But rest of all the tools are not that in depth actually, meaning not at the certificate level, but they will be at the 5+ years of experience levels. At you will be comfortably you will work as a 5+ years engineer, 5+ years experience engineer. But
Okay.
certification level, lot more is required actually. There are different dimensions also.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but Kubernetes and then Jenkins, you can confidently go and then write the basic entry level of certifications, administrative.
Okay. And how to connect with you, sir? If we have any doubts once we join in this course.
Yeah, actually, Telegram group is already created actually. So you will be added to the Telegram group. I also will be there. So on day-to-day basis, if you have any questions anywhere, any doubts, you can ping me in the Telegram. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, folks. Thanks for joining the session.
So what is the timing of tomorrow's session?
Same 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And tomorrow let us start understanding this concept actually. Atlassian survey. Tomorrow we'll see Atlassian survey, why we need to learn DevOps. And interestingly, let us start this DevOps story. You will love it actually, to understand what is DevOps actually, how it fill the gap between the developers and then the operations engineers, and how agile methodology is helping for the developers, and how DevOps is helping the entire operations guys, and then difference between the agile methodology and the DevOps. Let us discuss these concepts for tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. So Narsi sir, when actual class will be started actually? From Monday or?
No. First of all, see this. In order to start to this level, first of all, these three is required to understand first. Waterfall model, SDLC, agile methodology. This is required to understand. So for coming 3 days to 4 days, let us work on the theoretical discussions and all. And probably from Monday onwards, let us practical implementations.
So this VM setup automatically, this concept will be taught through CloudFormation or Terraform?
No, actually here automatically meaning we will use the Vagrant actually here. This is Vagrant. Terraform actually not now. Terraform will come once after this entire pipeline build is done. Right, this entire pipeline is done, then this entire thing we will automate Terraform.
I mean, you will discuss CloudFormation as well, sir?
Yes, CloudFormation as well. You can see in the DevOps course content, I already have provided the CloudFormation. The template we will use, and later in time we'll go for this one. For cloud agnostic, we will go for the Terraform. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, folks. Thanks for your presence.
So how we can get this document which you are showing on the screen?
This document course content you can find out in our DURGASOFT website. Let me go there and then showcase DURGASOFT online. So DURGASOFT online website, and then the new batches. In new batches, you can see with my name, 28th March. Where I am? Yes, 28th March course content. Go to course content. And yes, you can see the entire course content, whatever I'm showing to you.
Oh, that's great. Means you will be teaching that shell script also somewhat, right?
Exactly. Shell scripting and all. Just go through the course content. Each and every point mentioned in the course content will be covered.
Oh, okay. So I think that is as per the course content, is it possible that we can complete it 3 months?
That is the biggest question actually, asking by the various candidates in various timings of batches as well actually. Yeah, 90 days is the standard actually. Our target is
90 is working days, or it's including weekends also?
Okay, not including Sunday, but Saturday. So Sunday will be the holiday for sure, but on need basis. And if I feel like we are lagging off maybe in a week, one day or maybe most one day we will take, at least one day there may be a chance of getting off, right? At any circumstance. If that is the case, then Sunday will be a longer session I will conduct. But mostly Saturdays, I will take the Saturday little longer sessions. So for example, Jenkins master setup is required. So theory we can discuss in class days, but practical Jenkins complete architecture, master slave architecture, we can set up in one weekend. So again, from the Monday onwards, we can work on that architecture like pipeline creation, job creation, and all. Small concepts we can take it up. But if I feel there is a bigger concept, then I will take it up in the weekends. Of course, started in the weekdays only, but in weekend we'll spend more and then complete them.
Sir, as you are also working with the DevOps, right? So will you be able to show us how this real time scenario will be there?
Yeah, I can showcase it. That's not actually, yeah. Just to gain your confidence, I can showcase that how it will be and how we are using Azure DevOps actually. So meaning Azure we are using as a cloud platform, but I can showcase that. Okay, how we are using, how we are deploying and all. My application architecture I will explain. Maybe 1 weekend session, one Saturday when we connect for longer session, right?
Okay,
I will explain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Narsi sir. It's a great information.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, folks. Thanks for your time. Thank you. See you tomorrow.